All right, greetings, gamers of YouTube. It's Blue Pharaoh back in here with another thoughts video. I'm at work, that's why the background's a little bit different, but just want to give my thoughts on this whole Cyberpunk 2077 fiasco. I don't know, but so if you're into this kind of thing, the reviews have been dropping, and there's a couple things that stood out to me, right? One, the reviews are not universal. So some reviews are like glowing, right? And then some aren't as good. Okay, that happens. You know, people are allowed to have a difference of opinion. But I think what stood out to me more is that nobody could use actual footage from the game. That's a red flag. I've watched videos, I usually listen to them, but I've listened to videos of games in the past, and 9 times out of 10, what's being played in the background is footage from the game. But due to the embargo, they said don't use any footage from the game. I think even IGN said that they would re-release their review with actual footage to match what was going on the screen. Extra work, maybe. But the question is why? Why did CD Projekt Red decide that they didn't want any footage used in their reviews? Now, what is a review? I've been playing games for a long time. I used to see the little the little game reviews in GamePro with the little dude. If a game was fire, it would have like straight 5s across the board, and it'd be red, and he'd have like a little thumbs up. Essentially, a review is just a number. But I feel like nowadays, especially in modern times, the way that video games are now today, putting a number on a game at launch kind of defeats the purpose. And here's what I mean by that, right? So if you go and look at a review of Rainbow Six Siege, that number or whatever it says is not indicative of the experience that you will get from that game today. And so the question is, do we now re-review games every time there's a monumental patch? Because the list goes on and on. In fact, there are very few games that are released and are not updated, patched, something. Okay? So what are we actually reviewing? Sometimes it's done stealthily. Sometimes it's just shady. I remember it was a Call of Duty game. I can't remember which one because shady tactics have kept me out of Call of Duty. They were like, oh, there are no microtransactions at launch. And then what happened is they just sprinkled them in about a month and a half after all the literature said there are no microtransactions in this game. And then they added them. And if you were, because when it comes to video games, like some people just don't keep up with it. So Call of Duty usually comes out around November. I believe this one came out in October. So put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, they wanted those microtransactions in there in time for Christmas. But I'm not Boo Boo the Fool. I see what's going on. And like today more than ever, like I could get on Twitter and DM the developers to a certain game and be like, yo, I want such and such added to such and such game. Shoot your shot, right? Anything can happen. It's 2020. And so that's another thing. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. So with all these glowing reviews, right? With all these glowing reviews, they said that the game was great, but it had a lot of bugs in it. So how can a game be great if it's riddled with bugs? Do those bugs not take away from the experience? At least not a little bit? At the end of the day, it's just a number. And I'm not claiming to be Nostradamus, but I guarantee you that the experience that most people have in the next few months with Cyberpunk is going to be different than it is a year from now, 2 years from now. That's just the world that we live in. Arguably, my favorite game right now is way different than it was when it first came out. I'm speaking about Overwatch. I remember when Overwatch first came out, you get a team of 4 Torbjorns and 2 Mercies. You got to go to a special mode to do that now. Like, the game has changed so much. There's focus groups. There's, people who play early builds of games. When I started playing video games, once the game was out, it was out. It wasn't changing nothing. If I boot up Super Mario World right now, it's exactly the same as it was 20 years ago. Reviews are just numbers. Go ask the people who play Sea of Thieves if that number that somebody put on it a few years ago even matters to them. I haven't played Sea of Thieves, but I know I'd be mad if I paid full dollar for that game and then everything that's happened with it since then, right? Because I don't know, my time's important to me. So when I play a game, I want to make sure that, one, I'm enjoying myself. And that should be the bottom line. Finish. I tweeted this morning, I remember when GameSpot reviewed Smash Brothers Melee. They gave it an 8.9. And I'm like, what? This is the best game of all time. All time. 8.9. Dude, that's a B. But look at what's happened since then. Nintendo dropped Brawl. They said, nah, we want to make it more like Melee. So they did. They dropped Smash for the Wii U. They said, nah, we want it to be more like Melee. We want Melee to have online. Like, Nintendo's sitting on a gold mine. Like, just Nintendo, y'all could just release Melee as is with online play that works, that they've already done. Come on, man. Ain't nobody doing that for no other games. Why? Because Smash deserved more than an 8.9. I'm still salty about that to this day. To this day. Did that stop me from enjoying that game? Not in the slightest. And truth be told, I would take an afternoon with my boys, a GameCube, 4 sticks. That sounds really good. We'd probably enjoy that one more than Ultimate, if I'm being honest. But hey, reviews are just reviews. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this whole CD Projekt Red review fiasco. Till the next time, Blue Pharaoh signing out. Peace.